Well, I know people always say, which ones are your favorite movies? You know, there's lots for different reasons. Oxford Blues, obviously, because it got me started. Men at Work, because I had the best fun ever working with Milio and Charlie on that picture. A movie called Wide of the Eye with an English director called Donald Campbell. These were the films I made before I became an agent. Because Donald was the first director that I worked with who was a real artist, and I got to be that close to the sort of madness of it all, and understood the process of somebody who is a true artist and how they, and I'm not saying that the other filmmakers and people I was working with aren't, but he was particularly interesting psychologically, and so I got to be close to that personality, and it taught me a lot, because when I went to go be an agent, and got to work with these incredible movie directors too. At that point, I had a language and a skill set that I was coming with, and also I understood how to make films and distribute them. So it gave me a tremendous leg up when it came to making films. So at the agency, the films that I'm really fond of, as I said, I worked on some incredible movies, but The Apostle and Sling Blade were the first two movies that were really hits and were nominated for Oscars, that were important films and would not have happened except for me. I was the determining factor in making those movies happen, and getting distribution for them, and really starting a career for Billy Bob Thornton as a movie director, which he doesn't do so much anymore, but he's an incredible director. And then some of the early pictures with Gus Van Sant, Elephant, Paradise Park, later on Milk. Just getting to work with somebody like him was just incredible. Monsters Ball, the first African-American woman to win Best Actress Oscar. That film was an impossible film to make, and I somehow figured out how to do it. Diary of a Mad Black Woman launched the career of Tyler Perry, who is, that was his first movie, and he's now has this unbelievable career. So for me, it was very meaningful, because I got to work on the beginning of something amazing. I don't know. I keep, now in my second part of my career, maybe the third act, maybe Dallas Buyers Club, because it was a film that nobody in town wanted to make, and I was absolutely convinced that there was a massive audience for that film, and I was 100% right. The Butler, a movie that also a difficult picture to make. Sony had decided they weren't going to make it, and I managed to raise $25 million for an African-American subject matter that was a drama, really, more than an action picture, which is very difficult in this environment, where the international rights for a film like that on paper don't look good, but actually turned out to be the opposite. The movie did $80 million overseas, and proved that actually, if you make a great movie, doesn't matter what it is, people will come and see it. All Is Lost was a follow-on from one of my first movies after I left William Morris, Margin Call, which is a film I really loved, and All Is Lost was the follow-on for J.C. Chandor. That launched a great career for a very cool young director now, and got to work with Robert Redford, who I idolized when I was a kid, and the idea that I actually got a chance to work with him was incredible for me. And now, of course, later on here, Mudbound. And I'm forgetting Ain't That Body Saints, which is another picture I really feel kind of helped launch the career of a wonderful director called David Lowery, who's now got a very successful career, going for himself, working with both studios and independent films. That's my thing. I love working with young directors and helping them get their careers started. I actually enjoy working with older directors. I really enjoyed working with Werner Herzog on Queen of the Desert. So. It's a mixture.